What do we want?
Harm reduction!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Harm reduction!
When do we want it?
Now!
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ash, for acknowledging that we are gathered here on the territory of the Anishinaabe people. I think it's particularly important that we acknowledge the history and the ongoing impacts of colonialism, of violent colonialism on this land in the context of the war on drugs. The war on drugs is a racist and a colonial project. And we are here to say no to the racist war on drugs. We are facing an intense, toxic drug crisis here in Barrie. Our friends, our family, our neighbors, our loved ones are dying at an alarming rate. And I know many of you know the grief and the pain and the loss that we feel in our community. That's a direct result of the decisions and the lack of action of our governments at all levels. The people who we have lost in our communities, our loved ones, their lives mattered. Their lives were important. People who use drugs are deserving of dignity, of safety. They're deserving of care. And it's terrifying that we have to remind the people in positions of power of that truth, of that simple truth that people who use drugs deserve to live, deserve safety, deserve care. But that's what we're up against. The people in power, including the right-wing politicians at City Hall, our local members of Parliament, our local members of provincial Parliament, our Premier at Queen's Park, the Liberal government in Ottawa, the people in power are not taking the actions necessary to save lives and make our communities safer. They're defunding, they're attacking harm reduction programs, vital social services in our communities that save lives, that reduce the harms associated with the unregulated drug supply, like supervised consumption sites, like safe supply. We need those services now. Harm reduction is a recognition of the fundamental human dignity of all people. It is a recognition that all people deserve love and support. An attack on harm reduction is an attack on those ideas, and it's an attack on all of us. Politicians like Mayor Nuttall, politicians like Premier Ford, like Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, they're using the lives of our loved ones as scapegoats to win power. And the centrist Liberal politicians in Ottawa, they are folding to the pressure out of fear of losing votes and losing elections. They're trading the lives of people, real people, for power. It's shameful. Criminalizing drugs makes us less safe. The research is clear on that. Not only does punishment and criminalization lead to increased risk of overdose, increased risk of bloodborne infections, increased harms in general, it also leads to increased death, and it funnels millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars away from our communities, away from vital social supports to policing and punishment. It starves our communities of these services while traumatizing and re-traumatizing people, exacerbating crime, perpetuating crime, creating crime, and making all of us less safe. This attack on our communities from the people in power is terrifying, and it seems like it's not going to end anytime soon. But we have the power of evidence, first of all. We have the power of love for our neighbors, for our loved ones, for our family, for our friends on our side. We have to continue the fight for harm reduction services. We need safe supply now. We need supervised consumption sites now. We need housing for all now. We have lost too many people, and these deaths are preventable. So let us say to the Mayor, to our MPs, to our MPPs, to the Premier, to the Prime Minister, not one more. Not one more. Not one more. Not one more. Not